a regular cast member on Grey's Anatomy. You know her as Dr. Ortiz. Please welcome Melissa Dupre.
How you doing? How you feeling? Oh my gosh, yes, I'm on TV. I can't afford the TV subscriptions it takes to watch myself, but here I am. And I had always imagined that whenever I got famous enough and talented enough to receive my first Oscar, that the first person that I was gonna thank was President Barack Obama for all the free abortions it took to get there. I'm on the north side, that joke usually kills. And I really want to feel like I live in a world that cares about women, but honestly I don't. So tonight I am so honored to be in the presence of Personal PAC. Terry, you're amazing, and a lot of these senators and delegates and representatives of our local governments to talk about this personal issue and this issue that affects everyone. But I really want to invite us to think about how this affects us politically and systemically, as there is a huge history here that is not just tied to women, but it is tied to white supremacy, it is tied to racism, it is tied to the inherent oppression of women, mostly Black and brown women. Can we talk about that today?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that today?
Yeah.
In 2010, I had my first abortion, and that came out of a violent and abusive partnership. And in 2012, I had my second, and that was completely by choice. And I felt powerful in that choice and autonomous in that choice. It didn't make it easy. None of these conversations are easy, right? It's a matter of health. It is a matter of autonomy. And something, as a Puerto Rican woman, we've rarely been afforded the right to have autonomy over our own bodies, let alone our land, let alone our natural resources. So it is important for us to consider that this is not just a women's rights issue, that the US government, deep-seated in patriarchy, has forced sterilizations on indigenous women in the 70s, where 25% of the entire Native American population, their women were sterile. Forced sterilizations in Puerto Rico in the 40s, from 46 to 47 were forced sterilizations. Your birth control that you get now was a byproduct of experimentation on Puerto Rican women. Did you know that? They experimented on those women, and by 1956, 1 in 3 Puerto Rican women could not have babies, or they were deeply affected by the forced sterilizations, right? So when we think about places like Planned Parenthood, when we think about places that give abortions, we're not only thinking about just abortions, we're thinking about the education and the accessibility to your body and to the medicines that you need, not just for women, but for teens, for trans youth. We're thinking about education. We're thinking about sex education that they're not doing in schools. I don't know about you, but I never need to put a condom on a banana. Never, not once have I done it. Other things, yes. But in those places, when we protect abortions, we're also protecting those places where we get resources for free STI screenings, STD screenings, access to medical resources that when you're on Medicaid, you don't always have the access to the best doctors, right? And we think about the Black mortality rate with women in hospitals. Most of the time, and historically speaking, Black women have had the highest morbidity rate in births because we don't believe that Black women feel pain. This is historical, y'all. This is systemic, y'all. This is in the medical industrial complex that literally makes scaling that puts Black people as an inferior race and puts white people as a superior race. You're getting the chills, right? Because you know it's true. These are protective measures. And I love that we already talked about Chicago being a sanctuary city and Illinois being a sanctuary state. God bless it, because Wisconsin, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, they all come here because rural communities are most affected by abortions. Rural communities who have lack of resources, who have high suicide rates, they need to be able to make autonomous choices. Yes? It is not just about women. It is not. We're also thinking about white supremacy. I said it. If I was a government that put its highest value on the success and independence of women and their men, right? If I was a government that strongly believed and wanted to protect patriarchy, I would make sure that white women had the least access to preventative pregnancy and to abortions. Yes? If I was a government that really profited on incarceral states and wanted to make sure Black and brown communities did not have access to the things they need, and that the school to prison pipeline was strong so I could profit on those Black bodies, I would make sure that those Black and brown communities had the least amount of access to preventative pregnancies and that they had the highest rate of unplanned pregnancies, right? So think about it. These are bigger tools than just women. These are bigger issues and bigger systems than just the oppression of women. They are the oppression of everyone. And it keeps everyone at a disparity. So just think about that. And as a Latina, I'm here to guilt you into funding. As an organizer, I'm here to activate you into mobilizing. And it's not enough that you show up to your other friends that already know that this is important. It's not enough that you get enraged on Facebook and Instagram. It's not enough. Your Black and brown communities and your Black and brown neighbors need allies. And they need you to go in and take them to get registered. They need you to go in and put your bodies in the forefront on the lines. They need you with the most access and the most money for gas to take them to where they need to get going, so that way we can make the most movement together. It is not just about us here in this space. It is about us reaching out and going beyond our comfort, going beyond our access, going beyond the circles that directly affect us, and saying, hey, let me help you, because you're the most one directly affected by this change. Yes? Yes. I love y'all so much. Thank you for letting me come up here today. Thank you, Patty, for inviting me, and thank you all for all the work that you're doing. Have a beer. Much love.
I did have chills. You chills? Please follow her career. She is our own here, and she is. If you're friends with her, you are set for life. That's all I can say. You can't have her though. Maybe you, Terry, and a couple others. We'll talk about it later. I want to close out by once again bringing up Kirk Bangstad from Minocqua Brewing.